big welcome back to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta, and today I'm not here alone. I'm with D-Boy. We are going to discuss about the final clan in Clan Collection Volume 1. Bushi has revealed everything else. We already have all the Chaos Breakers, Dragonic Kaiser Familia, the Blood, and everything else. Now it's just GranBlue. We're just going to quickly jump right into the cards that we got for GranBlue. Obviously, just 3 new cards. So the first one is Damien. Just a quick shout that everything is a ghosty.
Yep.
So everything has the ghosty name as well, and obviously almost everything is a ghost except for the grade 3. But anyway, so this card has the ability that when placed from hand, so you can continuously revive it and apply the on-place effect to mill a ghosty card from your deck to the drop zone. Just a nice deck thinning, and it also works really well with the deck itself, which we'll go into later. And it has a skill that at the end of the battle it attacked. If you have a Vanguard with ghosty, you can retire itself to countercharge. But you can only do it once per turn with this specific ability.
Yep.
So you have to keep that in mind, that you can continuously retire itself, but you can only get the countercharge once.
Yep. Because the grade 2 has the same ability, right?
The grade 2 has a similar ability.
Okay.
There is a slight difference, which we'll just go into right now. So her or him, his name is Jesse. I will just call it's a she now.
It's a she ghosty.
I think it's a she if I've ever seen it. So it has 2 skills. This one. Also, so you can from the drop zone retire 2 rear guards, not named Jesse, so a different card than this card name, to revive itself. So that's just a nice drop zone recursion for free.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to retire something out of your board, for example, if you use Navigator, which you need to rest 2 rear guards, then you can retire them to Superior Call something else from the drop zone, Jesse. And it has a skill that when it attacks, it gets power plus 5,000, so a slight power boost, and at the end of the turn, retire this unit. And if it is retired, you can get 1 counter charge, but the counter charge is only once per turn.
Yeah.
So similar to the previous one, you get the power boost and it retires, but the counter charge is only once.
Yeah.
Now the difference is between this one and Damien is that this one doesn't need a ghosty Vanguard.
But it gets power.
So yeah, the great one needs a ghosty to have the retire effects, etc.
Yeah.
So this works, for example, in a Nitro's deck where if you want counter charge, you can have it by just having discard attacks. And you can really do that with Damien when you combine it with other grade 3s.
Yeah.
So you see some pattern where it dies on attack and gives you counter charge, because you need to counter blast mainly for the grade 3, which is the lady herself. Are we surprised? We are not done yet. The card flavor actually predict how the clan will be played, or at least this ghosty deck will be played, because it has 3 skills. So it has a Vanguard and Rearguard skill on place. You Soul Blast 1 to Superior Call something from your drop zone, but not itself. So you can fill the field by mostly just having Beatrice. You need because it cannot revive itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice because we don't really have this sort of revival option with It Mist. So this is actually something very appreciative for GranBlue in board formats. Well, in Vanguard Premium and Premium. And it has a continuous skill that all ghosty unit with a ghosty in their card name on Rearguard and Guardian gets intercept and power and extra shield. So this deck is very tanky, because the grade 1's ghosty will have a 15k shield and so on. Gives extra power because you want to, it's nice power boost when you attack. But you have to keep in mind that the intercept is only for the front row. So even if you have a grade 1 ghosty in the back row, it can intercept, but by mechanic definition, you cannot intercept from the back row.
It's the same as 7Cs, right?
The same as 7Cs.
Yeah.
It gives everything intercept. But you can actually only intercept with the one on the front row. So you have to keep in mind your the units where if you want to have some interceptors at the end.
Yeah.
And it's actually very crazy in this deck itself when you're trying to build a ghosty deck because of the 3rd skill. It has a skill on V when your rigger is retired by a card ability during your turn, you can counterblast 1 to call a ghosty card with a grade less than the grade of the unit that was retired. So in short, when something dies because of your own effects, you can retire a unit with the grade less. So if you have a grade 3 retired, for example, a Skull Dragon, which we all use and we will still use, then you can revive a grade 2 or a grade 1 or a grade 0 ghosty from the drop zone.
Yep.
So this deck, if you haven't seen the pattern yet, is a multi-attacking deck. If you can imagine a field where ghosty Beatrice revives, say, a Skull Dragon. A Skull Dragon attacks, you pay a counterblast, you revive the grade 2, which was Jessie, and then Jessie attacks with an extra 10,000 because 5,000 from Jessie's skill, and also 5,000 from Beatrice's skill. And then it retires again. When it retires again, you pay a counterblast to revive the grade 1. But Jessie gives you the counter charge. So it's a free multi-attacking engine. And then you go down the grade to the grade 1, which also gives you another attack, another counter charge. And you would say that's where you stop, right? But actually in Standard or V Premium now, you have another grade 0 ghosty, which is Chappie the ghosty. It's revealed in the first...
the Chappie himself.
We don't really... Sorry?
The Chappie himself.
The Chappie himself. Very, very strong in the premium format, but in V Series, once it was first revealed, it was really meh. It's a grade 0, so it blocks consistency. But here, actually, you can extend your attacks further, because if you have 10 cards in the drop zone, then you get an extra 10,000 power. So this will attack for 15,000. And then plus 5,000 from the Beatrice skill because it is a ghosty. And then because it's a grade 0 and you put it in the front row, you can intercept.
Exactly.
That's where the engine starts to.
That's a huge shield.
That's a very huge shield. And then you might think it only works for one column. Well, actually, if you have the counterblast for it, you can go on and go on until you're out of counterblast. So this means that you can make a pure ghosty deck. Maybe not everything will be ghosty, but you have the ghosty engine.
The ghosty engine
to most GranBlue decks. But of course, the multi-attack will only work if you have Beatrice as your main Vanguard. It's your decision if you want to have Night Rose or Kaitas. But at least Beatrice herself is very useful just on any other GranBlue deck because of the revival skill. If you remember how multi-attacking works with Night Rose, now you can do that also with Beatrice, but instead of a counter blast, you pay a soul blast. It is competing with Banshee, the Ripple Banshee to draw, but you just have to plan your resources nicely. So it gives you an option if you are counter blast denied and don't have a Cutlass in V Premium. I really like it. I will try to see. I will build both a pure ghosty deck and also I think Night Rose. This will work best in Night Rose. I don't think it will be better than Night Rose per se, but it is an option, and I really want to test it out.
And that's also the interesting thing about this set. The set gave us a extra deck that you could make. Let's say that in GranBlue you build a Kaidas deck, you build a 7 Seas deck, and you build a Night Rose deck. Although Night Rose and 7 Seas maybe now played the most, and now you have the option to also play a ghosty deck. But then you could also mix your ghosty deck with Kaidas or Night Rose or whatever you like, because again, as Ryan said, you also have the ghosty engine in it. But when we are talking standard, how about premium, Ryan? What could this do in premium?
So that was also what can we do in premium, and really. There's not really much, at least from my quick thinking on top of my head, there's not really much broken multi-attacking combo that came out now because Beatrice and the rest exist. But there is an old interaction that returned because of Ghosty Leader Beatrice skill. So, which it has a skill where you can counterblast 1, you can retire your own rear guard to to call a ghosty normal unit from your drop zone, and then it gets an extra shield.
Mm-hmm.
So before, when you have the old Nitros in G era, when you retire something, you can mill 2 cards from the deck and then revive the called card. So you would say you retire a Negro Lazy, and the Negro Lazy revives a Skeleton Cannoneer, which can then retire
Something from your opponent, yeah.
and yeah, if it's an attacking unit, that's basically a free guard. Yeah. Now, and of course, you need that specific OG Nitros, the G Nitros. And now with the V Nitros, you can also do that, or with any other V card, as long as you have Beatrice. So how it works is you use Negro Lily to retire to pay its effect, and then you revive Beatrice from your drop zone. And then that Beatrice from your drop zone will trigger its on place effect by Soul Blasting 1 to revive your Negro.
Yep.
Activate its effect, retire something. So now you have that interaction back without needing the G Nitros, the OG Nitros from the G era. And would you say this is worth it? I would personally say that it's worth, just because it's so easy to tack in. And just one Beatrice. You just need one Beatrice and a Cannoneer. And Cannoneer, most decks are still using them. Now you just have more reason to use them. If you have a variant of GranBlue that requires a lot of Soul Blast, like the Zazan variant, the Vanilla variant, then you just have to really be smart with your resources. Because if you want to do all this combo, you need 2 Counter Blasts and a Soul Blast. And having Beatrice on your deck is also, in a way, giving you the possibility to revive without using a Counter Blast.
Yeah. But
I think Beatrice has a lot of applicability in Premium.
Beatrice didn't say during your turn, or did she? Because if she...
no, it's just when place Soul Blast 1.
Okay. Only the second skill is during your turn, right?
The
third.
Defensive maneuvers like that, but also multi-attacking. Say you attack with Night Storm in Premium, revive a Beatrice, revive Skull Dragon, or a Columbar, or however way you want to do it.
Yeah.
Essentially, this is just really, really good support.
Yep. As a card herself, you could tag her, you could just use her as a regular to just extend your combos, because she only costs a Soul Blast for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright,
exactly.
So how about the card that they gave us as a reprint? Because let's say that you're new at playing Vanguard, or you just want to pick GranBlue up. Because me, myself, I always loved the ghosty archetype, let's say. Because the way they are drawn, the way the art looks like, and also like we see now from the Grade 1 and the Grade 2, like the Grade 1 looks very sad and just the art is very cute, and the Grade 2 looks pretty evil, like he's doing stuff to the ship. Now we have some of the reprints. So what do you think about these reprints? Are most of these reprints made for this specific deck, or are they actually made in general for GranBlue, for other people who found this card being very expensive and now it's easier for them to get them?
Now I think Bushiroad actually, I would say, did a really
good job.
Because now I will show you the 3 reprint cards, right? Yeah. Because the first one they reprint, I think, was the best one that they reprint, was Skull Dragon.
Yeah.
This is from the first set. It's a double R, but it's used in every single GranBlue deck in existence, except maybe 7Cs. You would argue. And you, in the Ghosty deck, you still need this because this is your highest beat stick to start your multi-attacking combo.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would need to attack from the Grade 2 and then you just go to the Grade 1 and the Grade 0. That's not enough. You don't want to just stop like that. You want to have one extra attack, and this is a really big one in Standard or V Premium. I need to get used to that, by the way.
Well, yeah, the way I'm calling them right now, I'm calling them P, which is Premium, V, which is, we know Standard as in V, so
V,
the V format, and we have D. So no standard bullshit anymore, because we already called Standard V, right? we already said the V format, so why call it standard? Just leave standard out of it. So we have D as in overdress.
And Skull Dragon is good in V and Premium.
Yeah.
So this is very good, and definitely commend Bushi for this. Greed Shade is just a good staple, but this
Expensive
was
one.
already reprinted in the festival collection.
Yeah.
So I guess an additional reprint is not an issue. It's still a triple R, which was always has been a triple R.
I expected Columbard though.
I also expected Columbard, but I think they didn't do it because it's still relatively
Too
new.
soon?
Yeah, I think it's too soon.
Okay.
And that was my only issue with this reprint, because
Yeah.
I think Columbard would have, if this was Columbard, then yeah, they did a perfect job. No
Yeah.
complaints right there. Ripple Banshee is a decent choice. I wouldn't personally say that this is for a Ghosty because it does compete for Soul.
Mm-hmm.
But then maybe it's still going to be used just because of the draw power.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say right now. I need to really test it out if you actually have an issue with Soul or not, because the only way to really revive your, well, if you want to start with a Skull Dragon, is your Beatrice. If you don't want to use a Counterblast, you can use Columbard if you want to use an extra Counterblast. But
yeah,
then you really push the Counterblast limit to, I think, then 2 Counterblasts to do the whole combo, which is actually not that bad.
Nah. It's fine though. The only thing that you need to be very smart about when to do it. Like you could get the Counterblasts back, right? Because of the counter charge mechanic that you get right now. But do you have a way to get the soul back?
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't. not in
right.
Standard. In Premium, there is a soul charge counter charge engine which some people can use. And honestly, for myself, I think I would consider it a bit more now because of Beatrice's existence.
Mm-hmm.
But Ripple Banshee in V in V there's no such thing. And then in that sense, Ripple Banshee is maybe a bit counter
blast heavy.
In every other GranBlue deck, maybe with the exception of 7Cs, you use the Counterblast, and you don't use your soul for mostly anything. In fact, you want to soul blast as much as possible just so that you can fill an extra drop zone.
Yeah.
And you also draw from that, so it's always great. But there would be another thing aside from Columbard that I just thought about that they might have reprint was Ghost Ship, Stormride Ghost Ship.
Yeah.
Because it's still used in both V and Premium. Although you can say you don't really need a lot because you almost always just have it as a 2-off or a 1-off if you're.
Some people don't play it at all.
Some people don't play it at all, but yeah, it's a very good card that they could have reprint here because it's also a double R.
Yeah.
I believe from the second set, also with Ripple Banshee and Greed Shade.
Yeah.
But maybe they just want to create 3, 2, and 1, and then we just go with that. But otherwise, with the reprint cards, the most important card that you need to get is Skull Dragon.
Skull Dragon, yeah.
And the Greed Shade is debatable because you can build the deck in different ways. What's important is the Columbard and the Ghosty, and the other 4 is up to you.
Yeah.
But it's maybe good to pick up about at least 1, maybe 2 to be the extra safe.
Yeah. And
Ripple Banshee, that's really hard to say if it's actually good to pick up or not. I would say if you really want to go far with GranBlue, at least in Premium or in other variants, then you at least need to pick 2 of these.
Yeah.
Then you sort of have a core for the Ghosty, and then you just need to add a little bit more. One thing that I forgot to mention with the Ghosty deck, it's looking to be a Protect 2 sort of deck. Because of the extra power that you need. Because otherwise the power is not that great once you get to grade 2 and 1. Because at grade 2 we only attack for 19 without any Protect 2, and then you would want more. Grade 1 is just 13, so it barely hits the Vanguard anymore. And actually the shield value, you can really use that to your full advantage, because yeah, if you end in a champy, that means that's a 25k shield waiting for you to use
Yep.
as an intercept, and that's really big.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're curious more about the coming Clan Collection Volume 2. I think Clan Collection Volume 1 brought us a lot of interesting cards, especially for something like Chaos Breaker Dragon.
Yeah.
And it definitely gave the clan a lot more options, more utility, more creativity, which, in my opinion, is something really refreshing.
Yeah.
And especially when you have it together like this in one pack instead of having like only 3 clans supported, and then you just look at those 3 clans, people who play those clans, and they're super happy, and then you'll be like, I think my clan will be supported in the next year or so, and then you just stay there with your old
Yeah.
deck. But now everyone's sort of happy,
Yeah.
at least overall, I would say, in terms of
Yeah.
how Clan Collection 1 was given, and I think it will be the same from Clan Collection 1 and 2. Right, Hart?
Yeah, for me, I think that some clans did get less interesting cards. Let's say people that were not that happy with Tachikaze, as in their grade 3. But if you look at the grade 2 and the grade 1, those are really good. So because they got Anger Blader back, I mean, they could always fall on that VR and just play that. But for other clans, for Gasteel, it's very different. The effect's very different, doesn't give a marker, more of a finisher, more of a card that you could take in premium. You could not really build a deck around it, although other clans like Oracle Think Tank in Volume 2, like GranBlue in Volume 1, got a separate deck. Like, some people could argue to say you could not play this ghosty mechanic in every deck. This needs to be its own deck. Although Varian could say, oh, you could take some other cards in it as well, but it's designed to be a separate deck, as in Battle Sisters. It was also designed to be a separate deck. You could still have tech cards in there. So for some clans got that, some others got cards that you could mix, some others got cards that were more made for premium, which is strange. I think all in all, it's very interesting to get the support this way. The question is, and this is an important one, now with Overdress. So we'll have a separate video to talk about Overdress, of course. But with Overdress, is this the kind of support that we will be expecting for V? Like once or twice a year, Bushi will give us a volume box 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. That's, we will have 12 clans in it, and every clan get maybe some reprints or maybe only new cards, like 4 or 5 new cards. Will this be the way that our clans will get support? Because if that's the case, I don't have any issues with it, because every clan will get the support the same way as we're getting premium collection. We get a V collection, which is Volume 1 and Volume 2, right? Even its name is V1 and V2, right?
Yeah, I think if it came down to Volume 3, Volume 4 for
Yeah.
the next, because I think they promised to give us 2 V collection per year.
Yeah.
And I guess that would mean that collection 1 and 3 and 4 similar to 1 and 2, maybe a different distribution, or they say, oh yeah, just one clan set with only new cards. They can also just do that, so they can reduce the cost for, like, you don't need to reprint anymore. But I would not mind having more reprints, because honestly, they need to reprint more VRs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because the old ones are just way too old at the moment, and sometimes it's very hard to get, especially for new players if they want to play V Premium.
Yeah, like we talked about Tachikaze. I mean, if people want to pick the clan up, most of them need Anger Blader. And if Anger Blader is now back at 4, then people need that. So people could get angry because they say card value and we don't want it to drop, and my collection and prices. But at the same time, we have already seen some VRs that cost €1 or $1 or $2. So are VRs really that expensive? We see clans that come out and their VR is like 10, 8, 7, 5. So I think it's alright to reprint cards to make them playable and accessible for people that are new at the game or people that want to try something different. The same goes for not VRs, but cards that are very expensive or very hard to get, like Skill Dragon. Like as Ryan explained, I was very happy with that. One other important thing, these cards also come out in SP. So sometimes it's good to get cards. Yep, it's good to get cards that are rares and commons that get played a lot in a deck, like Killer Tail for Dark Regulars. You could pimp up your whole Dark Regular deck, and then you have a Killer Tail, which is just the orb, but it's a very important card. That's the way it is for Spike. Spike got Bracky, Wonder Boy, and Commander Gary Cannon. 3 cards that are not that expensive. Still, you could get them. I mean, there are a bunch of them out there. But you could play your deck all out SP, but those cards will just be rares. That's it. But now you could also play these in SP. So it's also a nice addition that they pump up the rarity of the cards. For Ripple Banshee, as the one that we have on the screen, that's a good example. That's why I agree with Varian. Was this necessary? And the card already also existed in SP. So is this a necessary reprint? Debatable. Is this really needed in the Ghost Sea deck? Also debatable. So could they have chosen something different? They could, but was something different necessary except Column Wart, which is too new to reprint, I think? That's what they had as the idea. We'll see.
Yeah, that's hard to say.
Yeah, that's very hard to say.
I think the only thing we know for the next V collection is that we will get
Tetra from Aqua Force.
We'll get, Tetra Drive is Aqua Force. A very nostalgic card for people who played Aqua Force in the early days.
Yeah.
And then as well as Raging Form.
Yeah.
Which just I do think that collection will have more clans. I think those are just the 2 that was confirmed.
Yeah, just to hype people up.
Yeah, but anyways, the first one is essentially over, and then we will go on to Clan Collection Volume 2. We already have a few clans revealed. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Kagero Royal Paladin or Oracle Think Tank is already revealed.
Yeah.
We will get Great Nature in next Friday, and then the next week will be, I believe, is Ethics Buster. So for Nobel Grapplers and Great Nature, that will be very exciting. Stay tuned to our channel. I think Hart will cover most of the those 2 clans. I think you play Great Nature a little bit, right, Hart?
Yep. Yeah. I was in the past always a big fan of Great Nature, played a lot, especially Leopold during the Limit Break era. And with G, I was not that happy about G in general because lots changed. They introduced Tries, G-Guards and stuff, so I picked up less clans. But I kept playing it. There was some nice interactions that you could do at the end of turn with Leopold, bringing stuff back. So definitely I'm very excited for Great Nature because it's Hamske and I like the art, I like the way the deck works. Nova Grapplers also will cover everything in our channel. Sometimes you will see a guest as now that we do it together because the knowledge that of course Marian has of GranBlue is way bigger than mine. So that's also nice to have someone explain it, which plays the clan and really put time and effort into creating those decks. So thank you, Varian, for taking out your time to be with us, to help us out and explain everything to the people that watch and love to enjoy our videos.
Yeah, of course, Hart. I'm part of the team. We do this together. So I will just wrap it up then. Thanks everyone for watching the video. V Collection 1 is over, but we will continue with the Collection Volume 2 and be excited that V cards are not over. The era is still sort of continuing alongside Overdress. And we will also cover our thoughts on that later on in our channel. Thank you for your attention and bye-bye.
Till next time.